Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see
This
you,
is my
man. Can you
happy
hear me
Sunday
now?
dance. You like my happy Sunday dance?
It's a lovely Sunday, actually.
It is.
I don't know
Hey,
why my
what a
speakers.
time to be a Star Wars fan.
Man, celebration, Obi Wan Kenobi. It's just everything's been wonderful, right?
It has. It's kind of overwhelming at the same time. There's like so much happening. It's pretty
When we
crazy.
were young,
Yeah,
the nerds and the geeks, and nobody liked us.
right.
Now
And now
everybody likes Star Wars.
everybody wants to be in on the club. You know.
It's okay. We'll let them in.
Exactly.
Okay?
You guys are more than welcome to come in.
We just want more people to play with. It's fine. How's your week been, man?
It's been insane. It has been insane. Like, well, I mean, in a good way. It's. I feel like watching Celebration from home has been overwhelming because there's so much content that's coming out from books, movies, games. It's on this end being at home and not being there. It's still pretty amazing watching. Aside from that, yesterday I did a photo shoot, which was great. And my wife, she stepped on a dying squirrel in the process, and it was like a crazy thing, and everybody wanted to take pictures with us. Somebody called security because you know Mandalorians, like, they kind of like scare people when you're in public. But then
Oh my
there's some people
goodness.
who know who you are, where they're like, hey, yesterday. So let me tell you what happened. So we're at this park, right? The park is really beautiful, right, where we took pictures, but it's haunted. So like, it's it's a park where it used to be like a burial ground, but they never moved the burial ground. Like, the burial ground is still there, but they just put a park on top of it. So it's kind of creepy, but it's a really cool park
I
to
just
like
like the
hop.
way you casually drop in. It's
Right.
haunted. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, keep going.
So, so we went there yesterday, got a bunch of cool pictures, and I think like the funniest thing is comments from people. They're like, "Hey, you're Boba Fett, right?" And I'm like, close,
It'll
close.
do.
Different color, but close. Like, I'll give you that. And then there was one guy where I was nice, but he was like, "Aren't you from Battlestar Galactica?" And I was
Oh.
just that hurt a little bit. Just, I'm like, what? Show me the rock that you're living under, so I can binge watch this stuff with you, man. I will do it. So
I will come to your home.
right, this
You
was
can
all
use my Disney subscription and we will watch it all together.
exactly. I'll barbecue. I'll get some burgers and brats. We'll have a good time. Have some beers. And watch Disney Plus to get this guy educated. So that was my day yesterday. Photo shoot, and it was just madness. But it was great. It was really great. Got a lot of pictures, and celebrating Star Wars, even though we're not a celebration. It's just a nice time to be a Star Wars fan, man. It really is. Enough about me. Like, how's your week been?
You know what? So, as you know, I'm in the land down under. I'm in Australia.
Yeah.
I get some awfully nice comments from people saying, I'm really hoping to meet you at Celebration. And I'm like, I'm going to break your heart, but you're also breaking my heart because I ain't coming to Celebration, dude. Not this year, anyway. It's a long old flight to bring the armor on, if you know what I mean. But
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm like you. It's beautiful to watch. I see all these TikTok Star Wars content creators making some wonderful content. There's been some wonderful stuff out of Disney. And like you said at the start, I think it's a beautiful thing. It's a lovely thing to be a Star Wars fan right now. And wow, it is. If
Yeah.
you're going to be into something, like the only thing you could be in more to is probably Marvel, right? But Disney have got both. So
Yeah.
if you're into one of the two, you're dreaming right now.
Yeah. And you know what's weird? Since you brought up Marvel, I feel Star Wars has always been big, but really Star Wars was the Marvel before there was Marvel. It was that thing that everybody was like, you know what I mean? And now Marvel is like the big studio and everything in Star Wars. It's just weird. It's funny to see how
I know. I
times
think
change.
we're going way off topic already. I love our chats, man. I think for me, Marvel seems to be doing what Westerns did back in the '60s. Like everyone is just There's been so many. Like, are we still?
Yeah.
And they're obviously still going and still super successful. I saw Spider-Man. Spider-Man was awesome. I haven't seen
Yeah.
Doctor Strange yet. Meh.
Me either.
I'm just kind of. There's been a lot, and I just can't keep up with it all now. I just.
Hey, let me tell you guys this. Okay, well, okay. So I'm on topic, but I'm off topic. So being parents, I'm really excited for Celebration and everything they've announced because again, and I know you've had that question where you're like, all right, well, where do I start my kid off in terms of Star Wars, passing the mantle, how do I get them started? And so I'm going to be doing a video on this and talking about some of the new Star Wars content that's coming out specifically for kids, which I just think is great. Being the Dadalorian, I like to kind of share that stuff, especially if you're guys like us who are dads, and we're cosplayers.
Yeah.
You're Star Wars. Like, we want you to know as parents, there's fun ways, especially if you have younger ones, there's fun ways to get them involved. And there's a lot of new stuff like Jedi Adventures coming out and there's so much fun stuff. But yeah, man. But back on topic, like Doctor Strange, I haven't seen that yet, and it's just, it's funny. Like I spend a lot of the day listening and watching Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and Baby Shark. Because I have a 2-year-old and a almost 2-month-old. So you have all this kid stuff, and then by the time the night's over and all the kids are asleep, me and my wife, we're in our room watching stuff that has F-bombs and just all the stuff we can watch, and it's great. It's like you have to like plague your mind of all the.
Oh, you have to adult. It's been like you've been kid all day,
right? So, yeah, man, I haven't seen Doctor Strange for that reason alone. Just having kids, man. It's like, when can I watch it? It's kind of one of those things.
Like Stranger Things was out this weekend too. I've watched. Don't get me wrong. So we're going to talk about Obi Wan in a minute, but I've watched Obi Wan 3 times, both episodes 3 times now, and that's due to a few things, and I'll go into that later. But Stranger Things is out, and I'm a massive Stranger Things fan. I'm trying to watch that too, and it's like, man, there's too much content. I can't. I mean, don't get me wrong. Don't ever complain about there being too much content. We're nerds, and we need this stuff. But man, bringing both out on the same day is hard work.
I think that was strategic, in my opinion. By Disney. Oh, for sure.
Probably, they've got a captured audience there. If you've got the time and you can just binge it all weekend, right?
Exactly. I think it was a marketing thing where they're like, oh, well, we're going to drop.
If they're out, we should do it too.
Kenobi. And Star Wars Celebrations happening too. I'm just like, there's a lot of content out right now. It's kind of overwhelming.
Oh man, how many times you watched it? 2 episodes.
Twice. I've watched it. So I'm actually gonna watch it for the 3rd time today. So
I'm the same. I've watched it 3 times. I had surgery on Friday. Minor surgery. It's nothing to write home about, but I was a bit dazed and confused, waiting to recover before they let you go out for day surgery. So I had a little bit of time then where I could watch the first 2 episodes, and then we got home and I watched it again with my wife. Yeah. And then because my wife's lovely, she took my kids out yesterday morning, so I watched it at home when I was fully recovered and proper watched it. And so 3 times. So I feel like I'm about as educated on this show right now as I'm gonna be, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm going for a 3rd time today, so it's on my list. The Kenobi show was amazing. I agree. We're about to talk about it. We're about to talk more about it. So yeah. So
I've actually got a list that I can't read because I'm fogging up, but I'll clear my helmet again in a minute.
Yeah.
I'm just going to preface all of this because I've got some negative comments to say about this show, but I just want to preface the whole thing with, I love this show. This is more Star Wars content, and more Star Wars content is good content. We've had highs and lows, but I don't care if it's amazing or mediocre or not so good. It's more Star Wars, right? So I'm happy. I'm also going to caveat my views with, we're only 2 episodes into a 6-episode show.
Yeah.
It's hard to judge right now until you've seen what the creator's vision is for a whole season, right? But there's some fantastic bits. There's some terrible bits. Don't get me wrong. Let's not talk about that kidnap scene. But there's some beautiful Star Wars bits in it. It could do more for me. But I as a fan, as a Star Wars fan, it hits all the right notes. I don't know how you feel.
Oh, I mean, it's it's wonderful, and I'm still there's a part of me that's still in awe that like I feel like we're back in 2005 or 2004, where I feel like I'm a kid again watching Ewan McGregor and seeing Anakin reprises coming back into the role, and Hayden Christensen. It's just so cool to see that he's just all the love that he's being able to get is really heartwarming. So it's kind of like it's still sinking in, like, wow, this is actually happening, and yeah, overall, it's really exciting, but still kind of unbelievable at the same time, and I think there's a strange comparison, not to say, yeah, we're gonna get into the details, but I see it could. I think it could go a couple ways where it's like similar to Spider-Man No Way Home, where Spider-Man No Way Home was not a perfect movie at all, but it worked because of the nostalgia factors. You know what I mean? Like Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield. The movie had so many things that was wrong with it, but everybody excludes it because it was just like this still was amazing. You know what I mean? I feel there could be some similar energy potentially with Kenobi, but we'll see. But yeah, you're right. There's like we've already 2 episodes into a 6-chapter series. I'm wondering how they're gonna wrap it up, which will be interesting.
My major issue is I don't know, like looking at you and looking at this guy behind me.
Yeah.
2.5. I'm going to call Boba Fett a Mandalorian season and a half, right? We're already 2.5 seasons into a hero and a cute kid running from the Empire.
Yep.
I just hope Disney haven't gone for another hero and cute kid running from the Empire show. I want them to do something different.
Yeah. Sure.
That's probably my biggest complaint. I still think what I like is they pivoted. I think everybody was expecting it to be Luke. I think we were all going, he's on Tatooine, he's watching on Luke, there's going to be something with Luke. And they went, no, we're going to go this way. And I'm glad they've left Tatooine. We've spent so much time on Tatooine, not just in The Mandalorian and the Boba Fett, but in Star Wars, in the galaxy far, far away in general. Tatooine has been a very focal planet. And there's meant to be this. It's meant to be a galaxy far, far away. So let's go and see. So I'm glad episode 2 went away, and we saw something else that was a bit special. I get that that's production costs and it's more money because it's not the Tunisian desert or just a load of sand in a green screen room or whatever they do these days with the clever background screens and the like. But yeah, I'm just worried it's just Disney sticking to type and doing this hero with a cute kid show. And I've seen that show, and I want to see. But I want to see a new show. I don't want to see just another Mandalorian and Grogu running from the Empire. Now it's just Obi-Wan and Princess Leia running from the Empire. That's probably my major gripe right now. And it's not a huge gripe, man.
You already have a space dad, so
I've got a space dad. Don't get me wrong. Obi-Wan's the daddy. He's all...
right.
But yeah, that's probably. I love. Yeah. I'm going to talk about the positive bits first.
Yeah.
How good was the Order 66 scene?
Oh man, I wasn't expecting that. I was like, oh wow, and it's just, I was like, okay, Dave Filoni, of course, he's going to break your heart. You already know that that's going to happen. So I mean, that was great, man, and I feel like. Everything has purpose. I'm sure we're going to talk about Reva, but somebody pointed out something in that scene and kind of related to her. Which, if you kind of think about it, it's like, okay, yeah, they gave us, kind of a recap of what happened, all from the prequels going into Obi-Wan. But then that one particular scene was Order 66, and you had this group of younglings, and it. That's the way the show starts, So I wonder, I would imagine maybe Reva was one of those kids, and we're going to see...
Yeah, so, and I'm with you there. I think one of the Padawans, looks like the way the show's going to go is one of the Padawans was Reva as a child, and that She's seen Anakin come in. She's managed to escape from Anakin. Hopefully they do a flashback scene where Anakin's doing some craziness in the halls, and that's another Reva flashback. Or
what are we going to do?
Not too much, too gory. It's Disney after all, so we might not see too much. But she's got to have a reason to know it's Anakin, right? And the reason for her to know it's Anakin is going to be that she was there, she survived, she knew what Anakin did, and that he's turned to the dark side. So I'm hoping she hid in the corner. The bit I struggle then, and this is so there's a lot of feedback online about Reva as a character, and I think the actress is great. I think she's doing the best with the material that she's been given. Where I struggle with her as a whole is, so number one, if the idea is that she was a Padawan, that Anakin killed all of her friends and family, and she blames Obi-Wan for Anakin doing that.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that. But then you went and joined the Empire anyway. That doesn't quite sit right with me. And then her within the Empire, I don't know how she survived for so long within the Empire. She's petulant. She's reactive. She's aggressive. She doesn't follow orders. That's not what the Empire is about in my eyes. As a stormtrooper, we all follow orders. It's Emperor Palpatine's in charge. Vader's in charge. The rest of us all follow orders and we do as we're told. She's disobeyed so many orders in the first 2 episodes. I don't know how they haven't chopped her head off already. And if that's just the first 2 episodes, what's built her up to this point where they haven't said this woman's too much? That's where my problem stems with Reva. It's got nothing to do with the character. It's got nothing to do with any of the so-called woke stuff that's going on with that she's only cast because of her color and she's a female. None of that is any relevance. What the problem I've got is that they haven't, for me, and hopefully they get this right over the next 4 episodes because they'll have more time to ground her reasoning for her fallouts with Obi-Wan, why she knows so much and why she's the way she is. But I'm struggling to thread the dots right now because you killed my friends, so I joined you to kill the guy who was master of the guy that killed my... it's loose at best. It's loose at best.
You brought up a lot of good stuff because I'm like, oh yeah, she knows that it's Anakin, but that's not light information. You know what I mean? Like, Vader's not just going around telling every people, oh yeah, my name is, and I used to be Anakin.
Anakin Skywalker, yeah.
Yeah, she must have seen something. She knows. So, yeah, and I think you have a very valid point. I'm going to use the Book of Boba Fett as an example to kind of back up what you're saying. I love the Book of Boba Fett. Trust me, it was enjoyable Star Wars content. My only gripe, and I will stand by this to this day, is if this isn't me on the exterior saying this, but this is Boba Fett saying, I'm a crime boss, right? But you don't see him do crime boss stuff. You know, it's well, you're just a superhero then. You know, you're not a crime boss. So, crime boss in my mind, I don't know if you've seen like Daredevil, the Netflix show, but crime boss, when I think crime boss is like Kingpin, where he is mannerable, he is a public figure, he's almost likable, but he can still smash somebody's head into a car door anytime he wants to. Like, that's crime boss when I think of a crime boss. You know what I mean?
To be a fault of Disney at the moment that they
likable. You can like that.
Boba Fett went into the Sire like a bad guy and came out a good guy with no redemption storyline there.
Yeah,
and we were just supposed to accept that he's now a hero. They don't take us on the journey with the character enough, and I feel like that's where we're going with Reva a bit. Is that you haven't taken us on the journey, to care about this character who's allegedly a bad guy, who's got so much hatred for Obi-Wan. Yeah. They just need. We're footing around, and I apologize, but the show feels like a movie that has been turned into a TV show, and that is what it was. It was originally going to be a movie. There's a lot of filler. There's a lot of, there's a 5-second too much here. There's a stare here. How many times did we see Obi-Wan going back and forth in the desert to go and carve meat? Like, it just took time, and you could have filled that time better in my eyes by giving us some more backstory to some of these characters. And Reva, I think, would have benefited from more time. And again, 2 episodes in. We got 4 more episodes, and we may get a Reva-specific episode that just gives us everything. and then I'll hold my hands up and go, I was wrong. They've said it all, and I'm happy now. And that's where this is difficult. But that's where I am right now with her as a character.
Yeah. No, I get that. I think there's a lot of questions. When I look at her character, like, I think she's very fascinating, and I think she's meant to kind of be edgy, to kind of push the audience. People get annoyed with her, where I think that's purposeful, but at the same time, I feel like in the end of this, and just basing up my mind off of continuity and future things, I don't see her coming out alive. Because I feel like something's going to happen where either she just leaves everything with the Empire and goes off to just live a normal life or becomes a Jedi again, or something's going to happen to her in the process, meaning Vader. I just don't see her coming out on the other side. But with purpose, I think there's something. Again, we'll see. I'm going to
call it early. I think Obi-Wan's going to redeem her.
Yeah.
And then she's going to save Obi-Wan from Darth Vader at the end and die. But she's going to save Obi-Wan from Vader, and Obi-Wan's going to escape. I think that's the dovetail that they're going to go with.
Agreed. Like, when I look at her character, because you're totally, absolutely right. You said it perfectly earlier, where it was like, I mean, I'm not an Empire guy, right? I'm a Mandalorian. But observing, it's all about order. And if you don't follow orders, you're out or you're dead, in the Empire. So seeing a character like, agreed, I 100% agree where you're like, how the heck did she survive this long? Like, that's crazy. Especially like with Vader being there, Palpatine being there during this time. It's like, there's no way. If word got up to them about her actions, she would have been out pretty quickly. But, yeah.
In the scale of this, she reports to the Grand Inquisitor, who reports to Vader. So there's one boss. And I work for a boss. I know what I tell my boss about my underlings. And
right.
Vader will know what she's like. So this is what it surprises me, that she gets away with the behavior that, if she is constantly like this, and she's been like this for years in the Empire, I don't know how she's managed to get to the rank she's got. Beyond her, what I am calling her Trinity from Matrix-esque ability to climb walls and jump things, and she looks like Trinity. Like, she looks like Trinity from the Matrix when she fights. It's funny as they really, I don't know, they've just gone for that style, right?
I can never unsee that now.
Sorry, man, I've shattered that glass for you, but every time. Let's talk about something positive about the show.
But I think the one positive thing. For sure. Like, I think her character is very interesting. I think there's just, hope. The hope is that in the writing, hopefully they're going to flesh out more of, because she knows Vader is Anakin. And that's a big deal, because that's not information Vader's just giving out to anyone. So I think
the whole point is that there's only meant to be two people that know that in the universe. That's Palpatine and Vader, right? There's not meant to be anybody else that knows. Yep, so the fact that she knows is that's privileged information to know.
Right. So with that, I'm like, okay, either she's holding on to that as leverage, or again, she has some type of connection in both of their past, which I think is going to be. I think that's going to be revealed here soon. Hopefully, they do that in the third episode. But that
nicely leads me into Ewan McGregor and his performance as Obi-Wan.
Oh, yeah.
They have that moment at the end of episode 2 where she tells Obi-Wan that Anakin is alive.
Oh, man.
His face. So, Ewan McGregor has nailed this. Like, his performances in episodes 1, 2, and 3, he was playing a caricature of Alec Guinness as Obi-Wan. Yep. He's got to be... This is what I end up being, so I've got to play a version of that. He has managed to find the middle ground between what he did in episode 1, 2, and 3 and the Obi-Wan of A New Hope, and he is a broken man. His best friend, he basically is of the opinion is he killed his best friend. His whole religion, his whole cult, his whole life is disintegrated to nothing. He is now like a terrorist that is being hunted to kill, and he's got one job, and it's protect this child. But it's hopeless, and you forget it's Ewan McGregor. I genuinely forgot it was Ewan McGregor because he does it so well.
He does, and it's such a dream to like actually see him back in that role. It's pretty incredible. You know, and it's funny. I keep seeing the narrative that a lot of people are saying, and maybe they are executing it better. I don't want to say better. I think it's just a build up of what has needed to happen with the Jedi. If we're talking in world, in universe, where there's this narrative of the Jedi needs to end. A lot of people keep talking about, the Last Jedi and how they feel like in Kenobi they're kind of doing it better. I think I like what they did with the Last Jedi and kind of Luke saying, the Jedi need to end. But in this time period, it's a little bit different because from Obi-Wan's perspective, he's somebody who was a Jedi master who fought in the Clone Wars and seen it all come down and how blinded they were under somebody they thought was one of their rulers and a friend of theirs. So I think from that perspective, and also seeing his own friend, thinking that he was dead, but seeing him actually turn to one of the galaxy's worst monsters, I think that's probably another narrative where he's like, yeah, the Jedi have to come to an end. So I think in two different perspectives, but I get the wordplay. A lot of people keep comparing Last Jedi, Obi Wan Kenobi, this narrative of the Jedi need to end because everybody wants more Mandalorians. I'm just kidding. But I think that is interesting, that whole narrative, and seeing that play out in Obi-Wan about the Jedi ending, which is interesting.
And he's given up on it himself. That's what amazes me. Like, he has that conversation with Bail of, I'm not the man I was 10 years ago. Yeah. He has the conversation with the Jedi, I can't remember the guy's name now, in the desert, where he's like, no, he basically just says, no, like, just no, I'm not a Jedi. I'm not, we shouldn't be around. We're done. We're finished. We're cooked almost. And it's just, sorry, I've just got to correct something here because Mad Brox in my chat has reminded me that it is Sir Alec Guinness, not just Alec Guinness. So it is Sir Alec Guinness. I do apologize. Good pickup. He was knighted. But yeah, just this thing. He's a broken, and then at the end of the episode, so he's already broken. He's decided because of this conversation with Bail, where he feels like he owes Bail. I'm gonna go save his daughter. I don't want to, but I'm gonna. It's that moment where he goes out in the desert and digs his lightsaber up, and it's almost like, I'm going to do it, but I don't really want to do it. And he even fights in the hallway. He doesn't use any Jedi powers. He punches and goes, my fist. And he's still reluctant to embrace that world of old. Yeah. Because he judges himself for killing his best friend and the Empire being over. And when it's done, sorry, not the Empire, the Jedi Order being over, and when it's done to the galaxy. And now at the end of that episode, he gets told that his friend is still alive and he's Darth. Yeah. I can't remember if he says he's still alive or he's now Darth Vader or both. But I can't decide if this is going to send Obi-Wan into a more of a death spiral or give him hope or give him. I just don't know, and it's going to be really interesting to see where they take the character from there because he's been in this, like he's as low as you can go. Yeah. And is this going to be the? Not only did you not kill him, but you actually drove him to the dark side, and then he goes worse, or will he go? My friend's still alive, and I'm going to recover him from this. I don't know which way they're going to go. Yeah.
And if I were Obi-Wan, I would have asked Reva, like, how do you know that? Like, how do you know? You know, Anakin, what? Like, what's going on? Who are you? And then that brings the other question of, like, where is this in... Where's the fight going to take place? Because we know there's supposed to be, some type of battle between Obi-Wan and Vader, which I think you said something earlier too, where Reva, I could see her kind of being kind of like that sacrificial piece in the end, that saves Obi-Wan potentially. So we'll see what happens. I don't know if Leia's on your list, but oh my God. Besides the chase scene, She's perfect. Oh
So
my god.
let's just get that out of the way. That has got to be one of the worst kidnapping chase scenes I've seen.
It's up there with the chase scene in the Book of Boba Fett. You know, where they're driving in Mos Espa. It's just.
I know.
Yeah.
No, she ducked under a branch. What should I do? Like, a branch stops you. You're supposed to be a freaking kidnapper. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It felt weird. So, and this is a problem that I have with her. The actress that is playing Leia, phenomenal. She is a great little actress, and she's playing the character perfectly. The problem I have with her is that I can't remember the actress's name. I've got it written down somewhere, but so the actress in real life is 9 years old. She's 9 years old playing a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
Like a 6-year-old. Like, and she doesn't. When she runs through the forest, she looks like a 6-year-old, and I've got a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
He's nimble and skinny, and like you wouldn't catch him running through the forest. He'd be gone. Those guys would never have got him. But
I agree. She looks smaller.
They've picked her because of her acting chops, and she has got the acting chops. My goodness, does she do a Leia Organa well? That girl has just nailed it. She's just not quite old enough for me to play 10-year-old Leia. She needs to. They were better off, I think, hiring a 12-year-old girl to play a 10-year-old or a 13-year-old to play a 10-year-old. They've gone for younger playing a 10-year-old, and I find that particularly jarring. I've got kids around that age, so I find that a bit. Well, she clearly doesn't look 10 every time I see her.
Sure, for sure.
And what a fabulous little actress she is. She is she is just Princess Leia, isn't she? She's just this rebellious, knowledgeable, cocky. Everything about Princess Leia, she embodies. She's just done a great job of it.
Even Obi Wan was like, "How old are you?"
It's the Obi Wan comment of where he basically says she reminds you of his mother. Like he says, you remind me of someone, and he's referring to Padme. And he's dead right. She's got that. She's got that down. And
who was I watching? Maybe it was Theory. I can't remember, but someone was saying a lot of people were thinking he was talking about Padme, which I think that's what he was referring to. But some people were thinking he was maybe mentioning Satine, which is, I mean, it's not a far-fetched stretch because he did say you remind me of a friend who was, like a ruler, very wise. But I think I got more of the Padme vibes.
It could be Anakin. Let's not forget that Obi-Wan knew Anakin when Anakin was that age, so he could mean Anakin.
You never know. It definitely could go both ways, for sure. It definitely could. The best.
And again, this is one of the good bits of the show. I do like that they've got a very good actress for Leia. I like that they've pivoted and not gone with the Luke storyline that we're all expecting. They're now off-planet, off Tatooine, going somewhere else. And despite it being the same show as we've seen before, their relationship is very good. It's very interesting.
Tatooine is like the New York of Avengers. You know what I mean? Like
it really is. Everything's gone down on that planet, so we just keep going back.
Yeah. So it's nice to venture off and see some different planets. And I like the fact that I think the moment Obi-Wan ignites his lightsaber is going to be, it needs to be a momentous occasion. I like the fact that we've seen the lightsaber, but he hasn't ignited it yet. He's kind of just now dabbling back into the Force. He's kind of, I don't want to say cut himself off from the Force, but he's not really using it.
It's not far off, is it? Because like we talked about before, like he was throwing punches. Obi-Wan doesn't throw punches. So
I think the next few episodes are going to be very interesting. I do hope for connecting the dots. And another thing. I'm sure, is this on your list? Are we talking about Inquisitors?
Let's talk about Inquisitors.
So I don't think the Grand Inquisitor is dead, obviously. Like, I know there's a lot of gripe that people have, like, no, he can't be dead because he's in Rebels. And I'm like, trust me, like, what, pawns, they have, like 2 stomachs, and he was stabbed in this. He's going to be fine. He'll be patched up, back to tank. We're going to see him again. But I guarantee you that's going to cause even more backfire for Reva. which will probably make for some interesting, kind of fire, kind of on her end, which I think will be interesting. So,
and this is the bit for me that we spoke about earlier. Like, I don't. If she's now stabbed her boss,
yeah,
at what point does she get to live or not get expelled from the order? Like, there's if you can stab your boss and still have your job the next day, like,
yeah,
damn.
yeah. Well, it's
Job, like,
awesome. Here, let me tell you this. This is off topic, but on topic. So years ago, I used to work at an Amazon warehouse, right? And I'm not going to mention names, but there was this lady that came into work drunk twice and would drive, like the things where you have to pick up boxes, we have to drive these things around to put away product. She was driving one and crashed and still had a job and came back to work the next week. So, I know this is the Empire. The Empire is
maybe I'm being too harsh.
But you just never know. She can have her job, be drunk and crash, and still have a job. I'm open to everything at this point. But again, stabbing your boss is a little step forward. That's a little over the edge. So I could, yeah, that's a bit much.
Points about because the Grand Inquisitor says to her, "Don't chase him. You'll lose him. He'll get away."
Yeah,
he doesn't listen.
Yeah,
what happens? Everyone gets away. And they say that like it's a bad thing. Like, no, this is the Grand Inquisitor with his knowledge and his wisdom explains her, like, he knows how this is going to go down. Like, so that's part of her. Maybe that's part of her learning that she's got to learn to obey orders. And if she's not going to do that, which she clearly doesn't look like she's playing ball with the Empire, I think she's got to get chopped off. And maybe she goes on a singular hunt. Maybe it's a bit of a, she's being chased while she's chasing Obi-Wan at the same time. Who knows? My worry for her as a character is that she gets lost before because the inevitable is the Obi-Wan Vader fight, right? And that's the one that we're all waiting for.
Yep.
So far, we've seen 3 seconds of Vader. Is the show really just going to be very little Vader, Reva being the bad guy, and then at the end, the bad guy gets trumped with a bigger bad guy? I hope that's not what happens to her, because I think they should. There's enough there to flesh out a good character that they could do it on their own and flesh out her as a bad guy.
I
don't know.
I definitely can see that, though, where she's on the run, but kind of being hunted. It kind of seems like that makes sense to me based off of what we've seen thus far. Like, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can definitely see that happening. And hi, everybody in the chat. Limo, Getsu, Heavy Two Solos, I see you. Good morning, everyone. Buenos dias. Good to see you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me and my buddy Pooper Troopers. If you haven't seen Obi Wan Kenobi, well, sorry. It's only been out for like a few days now, guys. Came out like, what, Wednesday?
This was always going to be spoilers, guys. Come on. Come on.
Oh, Ixo_Coda. Hello. Good to see you. I like that comic book video you made. It looks really good. Keep up the good work. Yeah, Obi-Wan is, it's an experience, man. I think another positive thing is one solid director. I'm going to say that again.
I'm with you on this. I am 100% with you on this. She's got a vision and she's going to do it. For all of the bits that I have issues with, I'm happy to hold my hands up in 6 weeks' time, 5 weeks' time, whatever it is, and say I was wrong. She nailed it over the season, and I'm judging it halfway through the season. But that's what we're supposed to do, right? We're supposed to talk about the show while it's going on, and then we can watch the whole show and make a call at the end of it. But she's got the Star Wars tone right. There's the scene where the Inquisitors walk into the bar, and my God, that's such a Star Wars thing. It's so Western. It's so Clint Eastwood Western style. The bad guys walk into the bar, hold the bar up. We're looking for it's just that's quintessential Star Wars to me, and she's done an excellent job of capturing that. And similarly, when they're on in the second episode, the chase scenes in that episode still feel like Star Wars. It still feels otherworldly, sci-fi, but still feels it's not just any old sci-fi. It's got that Star Wars-esque to it. So
I think even if the vision was like, I mean, the show's going to be great, even if there's parts that we don't like. But what I love with the one director piece is, even if it's a bad vision, at least it's one whole bad vision, not like 3 or 4 different directors, you know, who have.
And I've got to fix the last guy's mistakes and try and make.
Right.
Yeah, you've got. Yeah. This is the story we're going to tell, and it's.
Yeah.
What I like as well is it's fixed this little hole of why does Princess Leia send R2-D2 to Ben Kenobi? Yeah. Yep. Because this old Jedi saved my life when I was 10 years old, and he was a hero to me.
Yeah.
That's why he's got to have these Death Star plans because he's the only one I know who will save us now.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the show just for that fill-in.
Can we talk about true villains really quick? The true villains, which I'm excited to see this guy get barbecued, is Uncle Owen. Let me tell you, all right, like, Uncle Owen, you know, like, even Luke didn't even care about Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen. You guys watch, you've seen New Hope? Like, he just looked back at them and was like, deuces, I'm out. You know, but I will say this. I love the tension, you know, between the two. I think I'm
with you. Uncle Owen is not a good dude. He's after one thing for this boy, and that is to work on the farm for his whole life and do nothing else. He wants nothing of interest to happen to this boy.
Right. So I mean,
the whole line that was in all the trailers of what like you trained his father, which is an absolute dagger to the heart of Obi Wan.
Yeah, man, that was
poor Ben Kenobi to bring that up to the dude.
Yeah, but you know, I'm sure. Even Uncle Owen said, like,
he's not a good dude. He's a neutral dude. He's doing what's right for him, and he's been given this duty, and he's going to do it his way. He's not going to do it for the greater good, as it were.
But I love the tension between those two, and I think that's going to make for something interesting. And you mentioned this earlier too. I like the fact that, because my brain was like, okay, I don't really see why would Obi Wan Kenobi leave Tatooine when his duty is kind of to look after Luke. But I like the fact that they switch it up where even Bail was like, the girl is just as important, you know, as the boy, you know, and he kind of has to, now where we're left off with Kenobi is he's kind of have to dig within himself to really find Obi-Wan Kenobi again. You know, now he's just this guy, Ben, who's kind of left all of that behind. And we all get to be, you know, it's funny, like, all of us adult Star Wars fans, we're like, I want to see Obi-Wan Kenobi with PTSD. Yeah. I don't want that. What is wrong with us? But I love it because there's the realism to that because you know his story. And you know if everything that this guy has been through, it's going to impact him. And it's filling in the gaps. You mentioned that earlier too. Seeing him, you know, from Clone Wars to where he is now to Sir Alec McGuinness, you know, that's a transition to become what he will be. Kind of like what he said in Rebels when he fought Darth Maul. He's like, you know, and look what I've overcome. You know, one
of the guys in my chat has just said the same thing. The fight between him and Maul in Rebels is beautiful.
Yeah,
and he's full Jedi at that point. He's back to he is Master Jedi there. Yeah, and he needs to get there. And this show hopefully will get him from this gutter that he's in his life to Master Jedi again, and he'll feel like he's got purpose. And if that's all the show gives us, I'm in. I'm so in.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Me and you have a very similar opinion. More Star Wars is always good Star Wars, and it's just great to see more Star Wars on the TV. And every time a stormtrooper runs past, I get excited. Every time we see a little droid or something, it's just all cool stuff that is just like, I'm so happy.
But will you ever consider going to Celebration one of these years?
100%, man. If I can, if you know. I think I messaged you in the week. My T-shirts are coming.
Yeah,
If they'll
yeah,
sell enough T-shirts and I can buy a flight next year,
yeah,
let's do it that way, right? But no, man, I'd love to come to Celebration, right? To be there with all the other Star Wars fans, especially how crazy. I've got so many friends now from doing this. I'm sure you're the same. Me and you don't know each other from Adam. We've not seen each other's faces,
yeah,
but we get along and we have good chats like this. And
yeah,
to come to Celebration and be with other Star Wars fans where you've got a singular bond, but it's building a relationship from that point.
yeah.
What a day to have, man. So I'm keen for that. It's just unfortunate this year was 20th. Was it 20th since? Oh, it's longer than that, right? It must be 30th year celebrations or some craziness.
I think
It
so.
was big. Anyway, but I'll get to one in the future. Australia's
Yeah.
not that far away. COVID's nearly over, right? So we'll. What about yourself? Have you been before? Are you?
No, I've never been. It's too expensive. Like, I couldn't go this year, but I plan to go next year. So I'm gonna make sure I'm there.
Pennies now. Go and buy his T-shirts. You guys, go over to Dadalorian's page and start buying his T-shirts. You can start buying my stickers.
Oh yeah,
My stickers are gone. Buy my stickers. That you know, they'll get me there eventually, and I'll be at Celebration next year. Let's aim for that.
yeah. I'm gonna get one of your Pooper Trooper ones without a doubt. That's on my list.
Well, man, I really enjoyed this chat. We've gone on for nearly an hour now, but just before we finish, I look forward to this. If you want to catch up again, I'd love to have a chat about next week's episode. We'll do this again next week.
Yeah.
I had a video go pretty viral over the last week with my my dog stepped on a bee. I did the Star Wars version. It's got to like 4 million views. I just want to thank you because I've done part 2. It dropped today. People go over into my channel. You can see part 2. The lovely Dadalorian has a starring role with that guy there. So thank you very much for being part of the video, man. I really appreciate it.
This guy has a starring role. It's not even about me anymore. It's this guy. All right.
That video's dropped. Hopefully, it does nearly as well as the first one did, and I think I've got enough content to do a part 3 if this one does well. So,
Yeah. Yes, please go check out Pooper Troopers, you guys. Oh, I think all of my people that are following you, I'm pretty sure everyone in my chat knows who Pooper Troopers is. Everyone here is like,
should be right.
Agreed, it is. So, and what's my favorite Star Wars movie?
Late here in Australia, it's nearly midnight. You go and enjoy your Sunday.
You too.
I'm sure we'll all enjoy Obi Wan again next week, and hopefully we can catch up again to have another chat about how Obi Wan's progressing.
I will have my live event ready this time. I made it for YouTube and didn't do it for...
We can do it on YouTube. Let's do it on YouTube next week. We do it on both. Can you do it on both? I don't know. We'll figure these things out. This is technology.
Yeah.
Man, may the force be with you. Mwah.
This is the way.